Hey guys, my name is Sebastian and I'm half of Evilnoiz.
Hello guys, my name is Mikuláš and I'm half of Evilnoiz as well.
And today to make this video to show you how we did the remix of Pantheon. We had to do an online meeting, an online call on Zoom because I don't know if you all guys knew, but Evilnoiz is a duo which is kind of special because I am from France.
And I'm from Slovakia, and basically this is the only way we can make it happen. We wanted to point it out because many people still don't know we are a duo.
Yeah, and surprisingly, we only met once in our life. Yeah, last year in Budapest. And so we have to send each other the projects. We have to do calls to work together. And today we are going to show you how we did the remix of the Dirtyphonics that way. And to do it, we are going to split the video in two parts. Firstly, I'll be showing you the introduction.
And I'll show you how we made the drops.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks a lot to the Dirtyphonics and to ECRAZE for letting us represent France through the remix EP. And
it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, and let's go. Let's just jump right into the tutorial and show you how we did the remix.
Let's go.
To start with, I'm going to show you how we did the introduction for the Pantheon remix. We didn't actually start it by doing the introduction when we did the remix. We firstly started by the drop. And when we had the drop, we found that the drops were really different from the original, even if they had the same kind of epic and orchestral vibe. But we wanted to keep the introduction pretty similar to the original tune, even if we wanted to make it even more orchestral, even more wide. So we decided to keep the same structure. Sorry. To keep the same structure as in the original tune. We have this part where the tension is rising, this pretty introduction. Then we have this part with some epic melodies, with the powerful energy. And then we have this part, which is pretty much the build-up, with the tension decreasing a bit. Up until it goes up and up right here. Right, so we actually kept the same drums as in the original, which are right here, but we added our own drums, some orchestral drums. You can hear them right here. We also use lots of different drums to make some really powerful drum fills, just like this. So it's actually just different sounds of drums put together with some samples from, especially from Kashmir. And the drums are almost everything right here. And during the build-up, we had the same drums used with a low-pass filter. You can see the automation right here. And so that's pretty much it for the drums. The effects are also the same as in the original tune. That's something we kind of kept because they were already powerful enough. So the effects are mainly some impacts. And different sounds. We just added our own impact here. So in order to add even more energy to it. The most interesting part, I think, is for the different orchestral instruments we use here. So we wanted to keep the same vibe, and we found a synthesizer in a contact library which is called Stray Lights. And we found this sound that sounds a lot like the original sound. Let me show it to you. It's right here. It sounds a lot like the original sound in the intro, so we decided to use it, and also adding a lower, another layer with a different pitch. With this, we also we also added a few instruments that are coming slowly from the background with a low pass filter. We had the strings, which are going to be used right after. So they are coming through this low pass filter with a bit of reverb. Sorry, a bit of reverb. And we have a bass from the synthesizer Zebra 2, and it sounds right like this. And all together you have this. Also, to make that effects of going like I used an auto pan right here, which is like modulating the volume of the instrument. Right. Okay. So then we have another part, which is the most epic, the most powerful part, and it's right here. Let me just take a bit of distance. Okay. It's this part right here, which sounds a lot more wide, a lot more powerful. So what we did here is we used the melody from the original tune. You have the lead here, and we use the same melody but with a lot of different layers. So we have these brass, this one. We also have some chords like this. There are a few strings. Also, I did some impacts with the tubular bells. Gives that much of energy. We also used some kind of impacts with the synthesizers here. We just reversed a Kashmir sample, added some erosion, delay, and reverb, and you have this sound. Right. Okay, and we also have, of course, a sub, so you still have those low frequencies and you control them. And it's layered with these 3 channels, which are basically amplifier samples with EQ, our own instruments that we resampled to, sound like this, and another amplifier brass. Okay, and finally we have a final layer, violin layer. I don't know why it's there. The project is a little bit messy, but we had this top violin layer, which sounds like this. So actually what we did here, to resume a bit, is just adding a lot of layers to make the original tune sound even wider, even more powerful. And we changed the main lead, and we did like lots of orchestral layers to replace it. Right. And then there is this part which is coming with that special effect going like. So right here it's the same instruments as before, but we added some special a special thing that was already in the build-up, but with not that effect, with doing like whoa 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 whoa. So to make that effect, I currently use different layers. You can see there it's actually again some contact libraries and some elements from the stems. Right here you have this sound, which is pitched up and up again. Right. And so right here we used an autopan with a mouth at 100%, phase 0, shape 0, and just playing with the rate here, and be sure to put it at hertz. Right, and so if you do an automation like just like this, you know, so the frequency is really high, the rate is really high here and decreases, it does that effect of whoa 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 whoa. So it's just modulating the volume of your group right here, and altogether sounds like this. And also at the same time you have that rising reverb from the Dada Life Endless Smile plugin, and that creates that special effect. On top of this, you have a Samplifier brass, and you have the original vocals from the stems because they were really, really good. Right, and then the build-up comes in. Then the build-up comes in. You have those chords, those strings, and different brass layers, which are coming progressively to make the pre-drop. The pre-drop, which is right here. Let me show you the pre-drop. Oh yes, that's this one. Right, so we wanted to have that melody coming during the drop. So for this, we used some chords like this from a contact library, some strings, and different layers of brass right here. Right, and with this you have some rising effects, some drums I showed right before, and that's pretty much it. It raises the tension, goes until the drop, where we also used the original voice sample right here, and we added on this voice sample a layer, a stereo layer, so it's even wider. And then the pre-drop starts, and Nicholas will tell you how we did the drops.
Okay, so in this part I'm going to walk you through how we made the drops for Pantheon remix, and I think we can start right at the top with this little loop. This is how the original idea of the track started, by taking one of the main samples from the original track. Let me turn off every post-processing and turn down the pitch. Yeah, so basically we took the sound, we chopped it up, play around with the pitch, applied frequency shifter, OTT, transient shaper, and some EQing, and basically this was the first thing we did in the project. Then we created the sub, which is same sample, just different part of it, and we applied OTT utility to make it mono, another OTT drum bass to add tiny bit of saturation, and the key difference here is the G clip, which is like distorting the sound like way too much. It's set to like 8 dB gain, clip at 55%, softness is like at 37%, and thanks to that, thanks to clipping, it was way too muddy, so we EQ out like the low mid, and that's how we created the sub for the song. And basically by making these two, we created like the core idea of the track. To help the flow more, we added this layer, which is basically same post-processing. We just experiment with like grain delay. In this case, it was just turning up the pitch, and it's adding quite a bit to the sub. It's one of these things you wouldn't notice unless I turn them off. Yeah, it's adding quite a bit to the sound. Then there is this sound, which is basically same sample again, same post-processing as the sub. There is just different settings for the grain delay. We just turned down the pitch just tiny bit, and we deleted the G clip to make it less distorted, and to like get the original stompy bass sound. Yeah, and we just added some compression, which is basically the stock compression from the Ableton. There's one more time we use the stomp sample, which is this, but in this case we used vocoder and resonator, and basically if I turn it off, it's just again the same stompy sample, but thanks to vocoder, which is set to external, it's taking this sound and turning it into this, and taking the body from the stomp and it's adding the clicky sound to the main bass. And then we just put resonator, which is set to D sharp, and by adding the same post-processing, some reverb at the end and EQing, that's how we get the main bass of the track. There's this sample, which is Samplifier Strings. It's from his sample pack, which is amazing, by the way. You should check it out. It's just original sample turned up like 13 semitones and applied some reverb, and it's complementing the flow quite a bit. You cannot hear it in the context, but like it's there, and it's one of the nice things to point out, especially because we use it in the second drop, and this time it's more present. We just play around with the post-processing in a different way. There is a reverb, the endless smile, which is not doing anything. There is an EQ, compression again, and basically that's it. There is another EQ and utility to make it less wide and turn up the gain. And we play around with the pitch a bit more, and that's how we get the second part of the first drop. One more thing I want to show you is the first string you hear in the drop, which are the brasses here. And these are basically nothing special. These are just Kashmir samples. We recreated the melody. We took the samples and stacked them on top of each other. So it's just like a few different samples stacked on top of each other. We added sub, like this one I showed you before, and the first sound. And that's basically how we made the drops for the remix.
Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. We will try to reply to all of them.
Yeah, yeah, if you have any question even about Evilnoiz or just like letting us know what you thought about the remix, we'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, see you next time, guys.
Don't forget to stream Pantheon.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go stream the remix and yeah, have fun.
See you next
Cheers.
time.
See you.